Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Wave 2, and here we have Hobie Brown Spider-Punk. This one is an interesting one because we've got this one in Wave 1. This is kind of the standard color scheme, or colorway, let's call it, for Spider-Punk. At the time we got the figure, I don't know if we really had a good enough look at how Spider-Punk was going to be in the movie, because in the movie, he goes through a lot of different themed colorways and kind of how the design looks in the movie and things like that. So he goes through a lot of different comic art styles. I don't know if there's a term for this. There probably isn't. I just don't know it. But you know, like ransom letters, where they get cutouts of letters from different magazines and then put it out to make words. How everything is kind of a mix match. I feel like Hobie Spider-Punk, his design goes through that a lot in the movie, and it's very interesting and very cool. This figure in particular kind of being that purplish pink color and then like black on his leather jacket and cuffs and then his pants. That specifically was in like the Spider Society scene where they're in Nueva York and Miguel is telling Miles all about his place in all of this and kind of what's going on. This is how Hobie looked in that. So that's why we get this figure. Now, did we need to get a whole other figure that shows Hobie like this? No, probably not. I think part of the reason why they did that is so they could say, hey, we're giving you an unmasked head sculpt that we did not give you previously. Because how awesome would it have been if the pack was this? Like, this was the Spider-Man in there and we had the unmasked head sculpt. That would have been awesome. We did not know how he would look in the movie at the time that this figure came out, because I think the figure may have been a little early. I don't remember exactly. But this time around, we get two unmasked head sculpts. So we have the one in the standard colorway, so we can actually have it for this figure. So that's a cool concept there. This does not have a masked head sculpt, and I know people are probably not going to like that, but in that scene when he is in this colorway, he doesn't wear the mask. So it really kind of wouldn't make sense, but I can understand not really wanting this figure or caring about this figure unless you had this particular version. And this version was getting somewhat of a reissue, and I think Entertainment Earth may have gotten it. I don't know if it's sold out. I'll have a link in the video description below if it's still available. So, you know, it's interesting. So it gives people a second chance to get this one because we do have that standard unmasked head sculpt there. So an interesting release. You guys give me your thoughts on it down in the comments below. But enough of that. We get the Spider-Verse Across the Spider-Verse card back there. Looking at the back of the package, we get a look at the figure, and we have the cross-sell. So all the figures in the wave. Spider-Punk is the second to last, the penultimate figure in the wave that we're looking at. Spider-Gwen will be the next one, and we'll finish it out. So Hobie, let's get him out of the package. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button now to help me reach my goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're getting super close to 48,000, so close. With your help, I know we can do it. So if you're a fan of my action figure reviews, hit that subscribe button now. Okay, so here we have Spider-Punk out of the pack. I almost said, oh, here we have the Spider-Punk out of the figure. That wouldn't make any sense. Out of the package. And if you have the previous one, you know exactly what to expect out of this one. There's not anything new or different. We just get the addition of the unmasked head sculpt, which is pretty good. But again, you know exactly what you're getting, because it's the same exact figure, just, you know, with the unmasked head sculpt. And again, if you have that previous one, then you could just do this because we have the standard colorway there. So you can see Hobie Brown in the classic red and blue-ish there. So again, you know exactly what you're getting. So let's go ahead and get in for a closer look. Let's take a look at the unmasked head sculpts, both of them. And then we'll go from there. The other addition to this, obviously, is the Gizmo Goober, the trans-dimensional travel watch, or just multiversal travel watch, or dimensional travel watch, or just watch thingy. People have commented on what it's called. I forget. I read the comments. I already forgot. But it's something like, I think it's something similar to one of those. Let's zoom in. Oh, if anyone's curious on how I make it look like he has his hands in his pockets, I just pop the hands out. That's all it is. There's nothing special there. But at certain angles, right, it does look like his hands are in his pockets, right? That's pretty good because he walks around with his hands in his pockets at Spider Society. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting look. So I went ahead and did it. Okay, so taking an up-close look at the head sculpt, the standard head sculpt there, and that looks pretty good. I think it's an okay likeness to Hobie Brown in the animated movie. I don't think it's the best. I think SH Figuarts made a better one. I will do a comparison a little bit later on so we can see that. The hair itself looks pretty good. It's not real hollow. There's actually some weight to the hair, so just a heads up on there. But it pops on this one nice and easy. And then, of course, on this one, it is the standard one. There is no masked head sculpt for this particular one, because in this colorway he did not wear a mask, so of course it would not be necessary. Now, one thing about this figure, it's the same exact figure, but we do have the added accessory of one extra head. Otherwise, we get the thwip hand in addition to the guitar, and then the same guitar holding hand here for the left, focus, and then the pick holding hand for the right there, and then we get the guitar, as you can see here, which is the guitar style is the same. It's just it's all in like pinkish, fuchsia, purpley colors there. So the same thing. There is a significant amount of less paint apps, fewer paint apps, significant fewer paint apps. Let's put it that way. Between the figures. So I think that's where the cost savings are in order to give us the two head sculpts. Not only that, it's just it's the same body mold, so there should have been some cost savings there also. I don't mind it. This is a true, accurate representation of Hobie Brown, Spider-Punk from the movie. So I'm good with that. In fact, if they gave us multiple colors, I'd kind of be okay with that too. I don't know that any other one makes as much sense. There was a little bit of a black and white type version, and I think like the jacket and stuff came out looking a little burgundy. If they did that, I wouldn't even necessarily be mad at it, because I think it's such a cool concept that, Spider-Punk, he's constantly changing in his design. So it'd be really cool. But looking at comparison wise, obviously the base body and the arms, instead of red, we just get that fuchsia purpley color, and then the torso had red and blue because the blue was the clothing, the red would have been the bodysuit underneath. But the torso on this guy, it's all just the one color. We did get some web lines painted in there, and then on the old one there was some on the red as well. So there's that. The shoulders are just all that same color, whereas before they were red and blue, so there's less paint apps there, as you can see. This armband piece there, way better colored, which I don't know if I realized this at the time. Maybe mine was just bad, but silver there on those spikes in front, but like the sides and the buckle on the back didn't get paint at all. We did get silver paint on there this time around. So you guys let me know, is mine the only bad one? But so that is a little bit more paint apps there, I guess, by technicality. Oh, look at this. Okay, so there's more here too. So it's not as bad as I thought, but it's still way less in terms of paint apps. So looking at the back, we get the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man thing there. But we had two spots, one button there, one patch there that was sculpted in the jacket, but there was no design elements to it. Well, guess what? We actually got them on there this time. I don't know. Is that a cat? I don't know if that's a cat or something. And then that's something there that says, I don't know what that says. It says something. Ooh, it says something right on there, but I cannot make out what it says. Star? I don't know what it is. I'll have to take a picture, zoom in, maybe I could see. But that looks like a cat, right? I don't know what that's about. Looking at the front, we get this, like the buttons and everything like that. It's kind of the same thing, but it fits the color scheme of kind of the fuchsia color. So that's all kind of normal there. The belt buckle, all the silver in place kind of has like a pinkish hue to it as well. We don't get any of the plaid patterns on the pants though there, and then the shoelaces are not painted in, so it's still less paint apps, even though we do get some additional in some places. It's still way less. And then in terms of like the little bit of cloth that's still there, like on the hand and then the arm, a tiny bit of paint apps are applied there on the forearm, and then same here on the forearm, but significantly less. So that's really the only difference between the two. Otherwise, they're the same exact figure, of course. So some color differences, but this is accurate to how he looked in certain points in the movie, in that scene, in Spider Society. So it is absolutely accurate, and I think it's cool we get it, and I love that they gave us the additional unmasked head sculpt. So that was definitely a nice touch. Okay, so having the SH figure art side by side with the Marvel Legends, and now that I look at the SH figure arts a little bit closer, I think Marvel and Hasbro actually did it a little bit better. Yeah, I think they did it a little bit better. One of the good things that SH Figure Arts did, he has kind of a little bit of a crooked smile or grin that he had. You know, he kind of had that look in the movie. But having them side by side, I do think Hasbro actually ended up doing a better job with the head sculpt. So kudos to Hasbro for actually winning that out. And like the import figure department, I think the figure overall, SH Figure Arts is better, but Hasbro did give us a better unmasked head sculpt, in my opinion. Yeah, but you guys let me know if you guys agree with that. I think it is, but you guys may disagree, and that's okay. Let me know. Okay, so if you had watched my review of Spider-Punk before, you'll know the articulation. Obviously, it's going to be the same exact figure, so let's go ahead and get into it. There should be no surprises here. The head is on a disc hinge. I guess, you know, the unmasked head sculpt probably would have gotten better little movement. But he can look down, which is good. He can look up a little bit. The hair does obviously hit his back. But I think it moves up enough, which is good. You get a full rotation in that head sculpt. Looks like you do get some pivot in there, so that is always good. It's always a positive. The shoulder you can get to go straight on out like so. You get a full rotation in there. There's no butterfly joint. You got an upper bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbow. Gives you that much bend there at the elbow. Wrist swivel, and they do hinge. Standard horizontal hinge on all the hands. The thwip hand, the guitar grip hand, and the pick hand. Oh, I forgot to mention we do get the watch there. Or probably, I may have mentioned it. I don't know. We have an ab crunch, which gets insane crunch, but ugly shelf. Like, it's just bad. Really bad, but he can crunch down that far forward, which is insane. He can go back a little bit, but you got some also very ugly angles. Like, it's really bad looking, like pure shelf there. I don't know that you're gonna, you know, crunch him so much back. Forward maybe a little bit. The vest does block some of it, so unless you're looking directly at the back of the figure, obviously then you're going to notice that. But forward, you know, it's not going to be so much of an issue, but it's still kind of ugly. Waist swivel in there. Legs go out that far apart, which is good. He can kick forward that far. The leg goes back very far. You got an upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed pinless knee, but the boot does hit the back of the leg quite a bit. So, you know, you can first bend that, just that top portion a little bit more. But you can get that much bend there total. You do have a boot swivel in there. Foot hinges down all the way. You get some hinge up, ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. This figure is not nearly as loose as my first one, but that doesn't mean that he's not difficult to get to stand at times because the legs are just so thin. It's not that they're gummy. There's just a little too much give because they're so thin, so it's not as sturdy. So if we had thicker legs, I think it'll be a little bit easier, but otherwise, you know, sometimes I struggle. But the Marvel Legends, the first one, you know, this leg was definitely, both of those legs were wobbly, but whereas this one, there's no wobble on those legs. So that makes a huge difference, but still getting him to balance is still a struggle at times. I can't remember if I gave you a full look at the two Spider-Mans together, but there we go, just in case. Okay, so from the scene, you know, at Spider Society in Nueva York, so these are kind of the Spider-Man figures that we got that were kind of all involved in that scene. So Jessica Drew, Miguel O'Hara, Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, and now Hobie Brown. I love that we're getting additional figures for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. What does suck is, you know, I can't count the other Miles and Peter because those are from the first movie, but another Gwen Stacy is weird. Another Spider-Man 2099, while I love and appreciate this upgrade, was it super necessary? I would say no. I don't know that this one was super necessary either, but Miles G. Morales was definitely necessary. So if that's what it takes to kind of get this second wave, I'm good with that. I absolutely love the movie, so if we can get more versions of characters from the movie. With Spider-Punk, he feels new because the unmasked head sculpt and the colorway is different, so that is important to me. Spider-Man 2099 isn't new enough, although again, it's an upgrade and it's an improvement, so you know, we have that there, but you know, just throwing that out there. Pavitr was not part of that Spider Society home as he was still staying home dealing with the breaking of the canon event. But he is in there as well. But we'll take a look here at the full wave so far. Obviously, mine is still Spider-Gwen. Okay, so some unmasked looks here. We have Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, and Hobie Brown, Spider-Punk, which in that particular scene, they would have all been unmasked. So that, you know, works out well. And I guess if I wanted to throw him in here, also throw him back in there, I could do that because he's unmasked too, and he was unmasked in that scene. So there we go. All unmasked spider people. Okay, so here we have the entire wave 2 so far. First 6 figures, Spider-Gwen and Lila. It's going to be the last one for the wave. I'm really digging it. I really am. Miles G. Morales is awesome. I love it. I'm so glad we've got the full Spider-Man suit version of Miles Morales and Peter Parker from the first movie Into the Spider-Verse. Pavitr, awesome that we get it. New character, new figure. Love that we got that. Because him and Miles are the only like true new character and figures that we've got. Although you could make the argument that Peter Parker, we didn't get this version, 1610 version of Peter Parker, but let's face it, right? It's like there. And then Miguel O'Hara. But you guys give me your thoughts down in the comments below on what you think of Wave 2. I am very happy with it. I love that we're getting more and more. There are some flaws in some of the figures, obviously here and there, but overall, I'm very happy with it. You guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.